So, you've been following a map that doesn't tell you where you are and doesn't tell you where you're going.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You are cordially invited to the show. Come ready to play.
Oh, I'm ready to fucking play!
We're going to the show!
We can do whatever we want now. We still can. I mean, all this shit can turn on a dime. Where the fuck are we?
This is the show, okay? We're in it right now. Okay, but how do we even know if they're watching us?
This is the show. We just gotta figure it out.
I don't know if I like this, okay? This feeling that any second something can jump out at us, man. I don't know if I like it. Ah! Fuck!
I am seeing a lot of things that I don't know are there.
We could run.
Fight. We could engage them in fisticuffs of wit and splendor.
We have some guests of honor.
You boys look like you need some comfort. Why don't you make your way down to the basement? That's where the marijuana is.
I am super high.
What the fuck is going on?
Is this the show?
What city are we in? Jesus Christ, doesn't anybody know anything?
Haven't you figured it out yet? What the show is?
Fucking tell me!
Maybe there is no show! Hey, so you guys are actors, right?
Fuck no. We're in the chess club.
And the one thing that I really appreciated about this film in particular was that you didn't treat the audience like they were stupid. You kept the ambiguity elements in throughout, and even toward the end. And you gave subtleties, but you were very careful about how you stepped and where you went direction-wise. And I'm curious, was that from initial concept that you had that idea, or was it in the script? Was it something that you guys discovered as you were editing or filming? How did that all come about for you?
That was definitely there from the very beginning, and it was something that I talked about quite a bit with, everybody I was making the film with, the actors, the RDP, that idea of not closing off any doors. Basically, the sort of the overall rule of the show, of the movie part of it, is that whatever you think is happening, you are right. I wanted there to be nothing in the entire film that would like close the door to whatever you believe is happening. Like, you get to believe that that's true. And there's nothing that contradicts any theory at any point. So you can basically, you can believe one thing for a while and then change your mind, and then think something else is happening and change your mind, and no matter what you think, you're right. So yeah, that's definitely, it's kind of a movie for that experience.
That must have been a nice training process for the actors, especially. I would imagine that they probably enjoyed that concept a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it was equally important to all of us that building it that way makes it the most inclusive experience possible, because it doesn't exclude any ideas that you have, or any beliefs, or any suspicions, or that it's that the most people possible could feel included in that story. So yeah, it was fun for us to be inclusive.
What do you think the actors gave to this that you didn't have in the initial concept and the script that you discovered when they did their thing?
Oh my goodness. Well, I wrote the script for them.
Okay.
So I had been working on an idea about a piece of immersive theater that was a little sadistic, I suppose, was the original idea. Like, what if it's a theater company that does not have your best interest at heart, and it's just sort of an experiment of how much ambiguity and disorientation and deprivation, like how much can people handle before they're just like, no. So I was working on the idea for a while, and then I met these 4 young actors, and I immediately decided that I needed to make the film for them. So once I met them, the script was written entirely for them. So they got to not be themselves. It's not exactly who they are. It's a little bit different. But I know that that was really fun for them too, to navigate what's them, what's not them, making those sort of like moral and ethical decisions that they wouldn't make, that their characters have to make. Yeah.
Nice. You know, the interesting thing about this film is it moves very fast. Even though it's not, you know, there's a lot of you get a lot of introspection and a lot of thought processes and things of that nature. But the camera is moving because they're constantly moving and shooting outdoors, and which is the majority of this film. What unique challenge was that for you all, and what did you do to kind of navigate through that? Because you're going up and down things, you're going around things, you're stopping, you're starting.
We were a very small production, which meant that we were light on our feet. Nice. We could grab everything and run at any moment. But yeah, shooting outside on a 9.5-day shooting schedule was intense. Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, I like that you made that observation about that. Like the camera is always moving because the people are always moving, and basically that was the way that we shot it in 9.5 days and shot it outside. Was my DP has a really lovely natural style of shooting where his camera really is always moving, and we made a lot of decisions together when we were shot listing the film and talking about how we wanted to shoot it. And really one of the main theories of how this film is shot is that we would keep it open enough so that we would just sort of establish a playing area for the actors, a little bit like stage, a little bit just like making a space for them and holding that frame for them to be in, but then to let the camera drift and move. We didn't use sticks at all. Everything is handheld. We have one dolly shot in the whole piece. It's a very fluid story. So the shooting style is very fluid as well.
Were you guys making the decisions on like close-ups and 2 shots on the fly then because of that idea?
We had everything shot listed. So, you know, is it a shot list or a wish list? I don't know. But yeah, everything that was important to get. That we would get those things. But a lot of shots we were able to get because Alex Pent, the DP, would basically, you know, kind of throw up the frame, but then as the scene went along, sort of drift and find the singles, and then, you know, find another one and find another one. So lots of the way that he shot it was so amazing. And this was all part of the plan, how to shoot in 9.5 days, was to let a shot contain many shots within it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you know, the other interesting element is that when you do go indoors, the landscape of what you're shooting, when you're shooting it, you know, the environment that you're shooting in, it changes. The colors, you use a color palette for each scenario. And again, I'm sure that was by design, but talk a little bit about the need to do that and why you wanted it to be so stark and different for each scene that you were indoors with.
Yeah, so most of the indoors scenes, the bookended scenes where we're inside the house where the young men live, one of the things that we leaned into in that space was defining separate spaces with colored light. So different spaces were green or pink or purple, you know, to try to to try to define those spaces, but also to bring in color into the light and into the air in a way that we would never be able to do outside, because 90% of the film, I think, is just available light, natural light. So bringing in the colors was really fun. There's the scene where they go into the basement at the strange Thanksgiving party, and same thing there. That's all very rich, colorful, dense lighting. Yeah, really, it's just that scene in particular is a contrast. And then we have a scene in the film that is entirely red.
Yeah.
And that has special meaning of its own, as does the color red. The color red has a very special meaning through the whole film. So that's one of the things that you can track when you're watching the film. You can just watch the film and look for the color red.
That's nice. You give everybody that clue. I like that.
Yeah, something to follow.
I'm curious. What did you? You're for most part, I wouldn't say veteran, but you've done some films now, and this is not your first rodeo, and not your first rodeo in feature either. So I'm kind of curious. What was your own personal show during this process and what are you going to take from it that you didn't have before that you're taking into the next thing?
I think when you say that, like, it's my own personal show, like, it's a really cool way of thinking about it. I like that. I've thought about it the whole time as kind of like, it is kind of like putting on a show. I play the driver in the film, and whatever her identity is up to you. She's clearly at the center of whatever the show is. I think in many ways the show really is real. There really is a piece of immersive theater called the show that there's a driver for, and a lady day for, and a ticket girl for, and really, bringing in the actors and bringing in the DP and really everybody, our sound designer, our colorist, everybody that has worked on this has become part of the show, because what the show does to the four young men is what the movie does to the audience.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of it's a bit of a many layered thing. So that was really fun for me to build all those layers of complexity, and it really was so fun for me because I like movies that, I mean, like you said at the beginning, which I really appreciate, Joe. Thank you. That it's like that you didn't treat the audience as though they were dumb.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun for me to have a total carte blanche in that way to just assume that the audience is enjoying thinking about these things and enjoying the curiosity of it and enjoying looking for the clues and enjoying all those different things and really just building in as many things as I thought were fun to think about. All of these thought experiments that they do all throughout. I love thinking about thought experiments, so it was fun for me to have this structure to put in a lot of the things that are just, I experience as fun.
Nice.
So,
does that mean this is the formula that you might stick with going forward? Or is this just one thing that you had to get out of yet, and now you're going to go back to, doing whatever it was before?
Whatever that was. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's true, yeah. So my first film, Girl Flu, is far more traditional in that what's happening is happening.
Right.
What you see is what you get. There's no,
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not that there's nothing wrong with it. It's just interesting, right? Because once you go down this road, it's almost like you're changed forever kind of idea, right? So
I kind of feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. this is definitely also a film that I really did have so much freedom with, not only in writing it and directing it, but I co-edited it as well. And it was really cool in the post process, working with my co-editor, who was he was an EP on the project, and he's a cameraman. So there were times in the edit where we're like, we really need this piece to tell the story, and we could just run out and go grab it.
Yeah.
Come back, put it in. So I really liked that process too. Yeah, I liked how small the team was. I liked how really easy it was to just communicate with everybody, because when everybody's in the same space together all the time, it's not like there's an office someplace or like a whole other crew someplace. Everybody's all together all the time. And I really liked the amount of creative freedom that not just I had, but that I was able to give to everybody that worked on the project.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like everybody took advantage of it. Enjoyed it. So that's great.
Yeah. I think it's fun for people too, and it's like when you tell them, when they want to know what's going on, and you get to tell them, like, what do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
That's it. Like, for you, that's what's happening. So,
right.
Yeah.
This film has many twists and turns, and you introduce characters in a very unconventional second, third act kind of way. And was it really truly about breaking the rules for you in this? Was that the excitement of it, or was it it's just a natural thing that happens with this kind of film for you? Do you think that this is something that just kind of flows with it?
I mean, I think that it's a little bit of both. I think that in order for me to make this particular story make sense, rules needed to be broken.
Yeah.
And in order for it to feel, I think, for the audience to feel like they're one of them, there has to be some places where the rug gets ripped out. If everything sort of happens in a traditional structural way, that doesn't work as well to me.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I'm actually like a serious structuralist. Like, I love screenplay structure. I'm a little obsessed with it. So yeah, breaking it was also part of the story, in the sense that the show has to basically be an outcome of your own intuitive and spontaneous choices. That's the only way it really works. So if chaos is what's driving the show, then it has to be a little chaotic.
Do you feel like this is the right moment to do something like this at the right time? Did this come into it to me? Like, early on in your career, do you feel like this would have been beyond you a little bit? Do you feel like because of where you've gotten and where you've gone, that this was the time to do something like this?
Yeah, I really did. It really felt like, I also felt a lot of urgency to make the film about these people. It's about their last Thanksgiving holiday. It really was their last Thanksgiving holiday. They all have, blown the nest and they're out in the world. And I really felt like such a strong sense that if I didn't capture this lightning in a bottle, that, that I would have really, I would have just so regretted not just jumping in and making it. But I definitely know that there's no way that I could have shot a feature film in 9.5 days. And was like totally relaxed and very chill the whole time. We had a 17-page day one day.
Wow.
Which is
brutal.
But it wasn't. That was the great thing. That day didn't really feel any harder than any other 12-hour day. You just like keep chugging and you just keep shooting. And I remember even that day just being completely relaxed. Yeah.
I have a feeling you've already answered this question for me, but I ask it anyway because it's my signature question, and that is, What do you love about independent film?
Oh my. Everything. Freedom. Freedom. That's mostly what I admire about independent film is it gives people the freedom to explore ideas without the weight of whether or not it's commercial or, I'm not making the Avengers. I don't have any interest in making the Avengers. What interests me are these sort of small ideas of the mind, and Girl Flu and this movie are similar, and in the way that really what I'm exploring is a psychological process of, they're both sort of coming of age films. They're both about this moment in people's lives when things turn. And, when you're making small films like this, nobody's breathing down your neck to make it more commercial.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about freedom.